WW7N.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that get together for a net held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, to find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That'll take you to our homepage. There you'll be able to find information about our group and also the frequencies we operate on. Also on our homepage is a link that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater, known as the 08 machine, 147.08, with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions for our nets. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has an emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway this evening. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing none at this point, we'll get the net underway. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Members checked in by video link already is Ron, KD7QKU, Jessica, KF7UHK, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is anybody else wishing to check in? Not hearing any. Let's get the ball rolling on the net this evening. We'll start off with Ron, KD7QKU.
Hey, well, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. KD7QKU here. I have 44 degrees. It was a beautiful day today. It was up to 55. I had built some steps that came from the garage into the house last week, and then I got sidetracked into some other things, and then I ordered a handrail. So today I went out and taken the casing off on the, as you come in the door, it would be the right hand side, and it's the same side the doorknob is on. And so I installed a handrail over there. And then I had bought a quart of dark brown paint. I went to Ace Hardware last week. They didn't really have what I wanted, but I guess I bought what they had. So it's I guess it's a polyurethane glossy dark brown porch paint. So I wish it wasn't glossy, but anyway, I would prefer it flat, but they didn't have it. And I think it's going to take forever and a day to dry. May take until summer, I don't know. I put it on, and then I filled it a little while ago, just as wet as when I put it on, so pretty cold out there in the garage. So that's what I was doing today. So back to that, KD7QKU.
7QKU, let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
UHK, Jessica up here in Everett. My other half, Sylvia, wanted back one of her laptops. I've got two, she's got two, and then she has her big fancy computer she uses for her artwork and stuff and pictures. So I went back to, on this Zoom meeting here, I went back to a Windows 7 machine, and I'm really seeing the difference, as in I can't put those fancy backgrounds on the background here because it's not fast enough to do what the other computer was doing, I guess, is probably what's going on. So that's kind of interesting. I drove today. I was on call, so they called me about 7:30 this morning, and I went up and drove for 6 hours, and I got paid for 8 because on-call does that for you. And then tomorrow I'm driving the Bellingham route, which is four round trips, which makes up 8 hours. And that is I'll be driving the longest bus in the fleet. They're 40 feet long, and always makes you a little more nervous when you drive these big long buses, because you really got to watch your back wheels so you run over people, dogs, and curbs and road signs. So that's what I'm doing lately, and I had some pizza tonight. It was awfully good, so I'm going to pass it back. This is KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, let's go to Richard, K7ITX in Kent.
Okay, hi everybody. I believe you can hear me. Otherwise, okay, thank you. So anyway, yeah, I'll just be maybe a couple rounds for me tonight. I have to get up at 6:15 a.m., which is unusual for me. Normally, I like to crawl out of bed about 7:30 and still be real sleepy, but getting up at 6:15 means I have an 8 a.m. doctor's appointment. So anyway, yeah, I know. And believe it or not, it's a nutritionist, which I've never been to before. I've never been to a nutritionist, and so by to you guys a little bit earlier than the past. Had a very nice time with Debbie, the YL, in a. We had a Zoom meeting with my favorite pulmonary rehab doctor down in Manhattan, New York City. He's just a bundle of fun and full of great information, and I particularly like it when Debbie shows up with me for these things. She's one hell of a trooper and caregiver, and I don't know what I'd do without her. So anyway, great to see everybody tonight. K7ITX, back to net control.
7ITX, moving down the list. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, let's see. I was going to say all I have on the 1.2 gigahertz downlink is a white screen, but thank you, probably Jim, for putting up the
repeater interior. Otherwise, I don't have any video, but I can't see anyone, unfortunately. Let's see. Yeah, I've got 44 degrees here at the house, just south of Covington. Kind of nice outside now, a little bit more chilly than I was thinking it ought to be. I was out and about running errands most all of the day. The morning wasn't all that pleasant, but after lunchtime it warmed up significantly. It was kind of nice. So I should have come out to the shack and turned on the heat a little bit earlier. So unfortunately I'm wearing my coat and hat in the shack right now, but that's okay, I guess. Ron, yeah, still just a little bit on the cold side for paint. It'll dry eventually. I do have a question for you, Ron. Did they ever find out what the cause was on that Jeep? I have a friend who has what sounds like an identical problem on her Nissan. I think it's a Nissan Rogue. Yeah, it is a Nissan Rogue, because there was just some sort of recall on that, but I don't remember what the recall was. Anyway, finally got the thing started and drove it to the dealer. It's been causing problems where it didn't want to start several consecutive times. And you jump it and it seems to be okay, but it doesn't seem like it's the battery. So just curious, Ron, if you had any ideas on what happened there. And reset. Thank you, Mr. Repeater. Jessica, oh, busy. Man, I can appreciate wanting to be careful with that extra long bus. And pizza sounds yummy to me. In fact, I was inspired today. Since Safeway had Guinness on sale, I had to go and acquire some in order to properly commemorate St. Patrick's Day. So that's one errand I did today. Dick, 6:15, my goodness, that sounds like going to work. A doctor appointment, well, at least it's a Zoom meeting, and at least Debbie will be able to be with you too. Man, a nutritionist, I don't ever want to go to a nutritionist. They'll tell me, I don't know what they'll tell me, but I'm sure it's not going to be good. I don't know. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, and get an ID in here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So with that, let's go on to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. This is James WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. Our attendance tickles me. I mean, we go from having almost every person who's active in the club one evening down to 6 the next evening. There's no guessing it, I guess. All I can say is take it one step at a time. That's my humble advice on that. But the tidbit I had, there's a friend of mine down south is doing a bunch of remodeling. He said the cost of everything has gone up, especially paint. The cost of paint has just gone astronomical, which I don't look forward to, because not only do we, my association, we have the whole outside painting project, but my interior's never been painted in all the 30 years I've been here. It's really in bad need of it. That's going to be pricey. I'm curious, Jessica, do you get points depending on who you run over? Do you get, does anyone remember that video game? It was so controversial when it came out, and now it wouldn't even raise an eyebrow. That was the one where, it was back when you went to an arcade and you put quarters in, and I think you drove a little car around, and every time you hit someone, there'd be a little scream, and it would make this little, all arms and legs in all directions. I remember after that came out, a lady was whipping around the corner at Costco, and I almost stepped in front of her, and I jumped up and made that little symbol with my arms and legs out in the air, and she started laughing hysterically. So it was interesting part of the 90s culture there, I guess. I also had a friend who maintained those video games, was an entrepreneur, and learned a lot about those from him. Of course, they eventually became obsolete. Now they're props in movies, I think, is where they all went to. Something news you can use. I got to show you guys this. This is indicative of inflation because if you look at this, you can see it's a barcode, right? But look at it. It's a barcode that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Actually, what this is off of an end of a package, and I figure since it's the part that does not show, it must have something to do with barcoding the actual packaging. Since when they go ahead and assemble the package, it's covered up. You don't see this, and yet the real long, the long lines must enable a scanner to read it with more lateral error, and it's the only thing I can figure. Good news, bad news. I got the news you can use is I got some junk mail today. And Burger King would always put these full one-page ads of coupons in them pre-COVID. And I would never go to Burger King without a coupon, right? Well, I noticed the prices on the mall are all roughly double what they used to be. They're roughly twice what they used to be. And that's along with the news I may have told you about that the PCC Whole Foods chocolate chip cookie has gone from $1 to $1.49. That's a 50% increase. That's real inflation, guys. Well, with that jolly news, I'm going to turn it back to our net control Dave. This is James, WAU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
WU7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. I got 45 degrees and good air outside. Today was kind of an inside, even though the weather had a brief spot of sunshine this morning. I stayed inside and didn't go for a walk because that was followed by rain, and then it sort of just clouded over for the last afternoon part of the day. So I worked on finances and domestic chores. For some reason, I just didn't get much sleep last night. I woke up about every 2 hours, sort of stared at the ceiling. I think I was looking for stars, but I forgot that I was inside, so I wasn't seeing too many stars, but then dozed off again. But yesterday I went to Costco again and bought some more of their prepared chili. Oh my gosh, this is the second batch I got. I'm very impressed. It's close to 30% beef hamburger patties fried that are chopped up and put into the chili. It's really dense. I was very impressed. So I went back. I'm a double timer on that. For bad news in the family, I was talking with my brother today. He had a biopsy a week ago with a lump in his throat, and it came back as a malignant biopsy for the lymph nodes. So he meets Monday with the medical professors to see what they're going to do, and doctors. Also, the bad news was he came down with lymphoma also 2 weeks ago with a diagnosis. So he and Fred Hutch are going to become buddies come this Monday and see how they follow that. But he seems to be in pretty good spirits and looking forward to every day that he can. So that's what I've got to pass on. That's Don NK7NKK, my brother Don. So anyway, with that, this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. So I'll move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU here. Well, Don's a really nice guy. I've met him quite a few times. He likes to fish. He likes to do everything. He's a good handyman. I'm sorry. I wish him all the best. I hope they get it eradicated. He has many more years. And Richard, yeah, it's nice that Debbie joins you. And I know you told me before you enjoy that guy on Zoom back east, but I think the nutritionist is probably gonna. I don't know what the nutrition. You might eat pretty healthy. I don't know. I say you might have to change your eating habits, but who knows? And Jim, you were talking about my car, so let me let her drop. This is a long story. It's not too long, but it, so, you know, it was taken in on Wednesday and they didn't get around to bringing it in the shop, I don't think, till Friday night. The lady called me and said that I was up next and they would have something for me on Monday. Well, they did. And they said that the only thing wrong with the car, really, they thought was the battery. The battery was no good. Well, the battery was only 2 months old, and I had bought it from AAA, and it was a 6-year guaranteed battery, and it was a gigantic battery. So I called AAA, and I asked them if they'd replace it, and the lady was very nice. She said, sure, absolutely. So she said, I'll get a hold of the guy, and she said, okay, he'll be there in 50 minutes. And so I said, okay, that's fine. But I didn't tell her, but I had to take Joanne to the doctor. So I get a text message from the guy while I was with Joanne, and he said, can you meet me at the car? And I texted him back and said, absolutely not, I'm sorry. So that was the end of that conversation. So then in the afternoon, I called down to the dealership and talked to the lady that's a service writer or whatever. She was taking care of my car anyway, and she said she never saw the battery guy, and as far as no one ever got the key, as far as she knew, nothing had been done in the car. So then I said, okay. So by then it was like, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a little bit late to really do anything. So then I waited till the next morning, and I called. That was Tuesday then, and I called AAA and said that I was available and I could meet the guy. So I said I'd like to schedule, have the battery put in. So she said, okay. So she said again it'd be about 45 or 50 minutes. So Joanne and I jumped in the pickup and we went down to the dealer, and the guy never showed up. And so after about an hour and a half, I called AAA back. Of course, you get the person probably in the Midwest or East Coast. It's a 1-800 number. They're not in Washington. They always ask you what state you're in, and then they look you up. So I talked to a young man the first time. This time I talked to a lady. She didn't know what was going on at all. And so after 20 minutes of being on the phone with her, she finally came back and told me that it was the dealer's problem. No, I said, you completely misunderstood everything. You guys put the battery in November. It's your battery. It has nothing to do with the dealer. The car's sitting outside. It just needs you to come down and put the battery in. Oh, okay. Well, that's different. So let me let her drop again. He comes back after a while and tells me, well, the battery was replaced yesterday. Well, I said, not to my knowledge. And the dealer said no one got the key or anything. Well, she said, I don't know what's going on, but all our reports say the battery was put in yesterday, so you should be good to go. Well, I said, I don't know. I mean, we can't verify that, I guess. So she gave me the name of the person who, the company, is a AAA garage, and they run the battery service out of there. And so his name was Keith, and so I called over there, and so the lady said, well, she showed the record that the battery had been replaced. But I said, well, we're sort of in limbo here. No one seems to know for sure. So she said, okay, I'll give you Keith's phone number. She gave me Keith's phone number. I called Keith up, and he said, oh, yeah, Mr. Becker, Ron. He said, I put the battery in yesterday. He said, I'm the guy that came to your house, put it in the first time. They require you to be there, but he said, I knew you were not trying to steal the battery. I knew the car, and I remembered you. So he said, I went ahead and put the battery. I went in and got your fob from your service writer was at lunch, but I got talked to someone else. So anyway, and that person was supposed to pass the word along to my service advisor. Well, it never happened. So anyway, so then after I found out that, it would have been nice if Keith would have texted me back and said, I put the battery in or something, so we would have known. Of course, if I'd have been there, I would have saw it. So then I went back in, told the service writer that the battery had been put in, and she had been to lunch, and so she apologized. And the information hadn't been forwarded to her, and she said, we'll get the car in immediately, and we'll run another check on it. And so they did, and they said everything was fine. It didn't have a short. Everything was charging. It was good to go, so Joanne drove it home. So after that little hassle with the battery, and everybody was nice. It was a pleasant experience. It's kind of a long phone call. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
7QKU. Oh my, battery problems. But a solution that was good. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM for an ID. So now let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
UHK, you know, when you talk to someone on one of these 1-800 numbers or somewhere where you know they're not next door to you, I always like asking them, what state are they in? And I like to ask them what the weather's like over there, and then I tell them what the weather's like here, just to kind of get some kind of handshake information back and forth. The last time we took our truck in, just recently, to go get 4 new tires, because the old ones were original when we bought the thing, and it's been several years, and they were getting pretty thin and pretty worn out, and it was time to get tires. And I knew about what it was going to cost me, probably roughly $1,000 or so. But the lady came out to me and said, well, we looked at your tires, and we've got a set ready to go, but they're going to be $1,000 roughly, $980. I said, sounds great. Sounds great. But she did it almost like she was tiptoeing in, like she thought I was going to go crazy on the price. I was I was totally ready for that. I was like, no, I knew these are not cheap tires for nice big, nice tires for a truck. So it was just to me it was comical, because she just looked like she was a little bit, maybe she hadn't sold a lot of tires or something, or told people how much these things cost, or maybe she had a bad reaction. But I was totally fine with it. It's like, yeah, put them on. I'm ready to go. Let's see. Prices are going up, though. Yeah, like someone was mentioning, prices are going up. You go get a candy bar. The candy bars are getting smaller, and the prices are going up. And I get a lot of candy bars. Speaking of nutrition, I get a lot of candy bars, because I throw them in my little backpack when I go driving. So I always have some things to drink, along with some water drinks, a sugar drink, and then a power drink. This usually has caffeine and a bunch of vitamins in it. So if I feel stressed out, I drink one of these. Probably not the best thing to drink before bed, but they really keep me going. And with that, and our health, our health is really number one, to keep going. Otherwise, we won't be here to enjoy that health. So, yeah, you gotta get things fixed when they go bad. This is KF7UHK.
7UHK. Let's go to Kent, to Richard, K7ITX.
Well, I kind of figured I'd get a ride from you people with this nutritionist appointment. Maybe I need to have my head examined, but the problem is, and this is pretty unique. In fact, I ran into a lot of people that said they wish I had my problem. My problem is that no matter how much good food I eat, I can't gain weight. In fact, I'm on the verge of always losing weight. So look that up on the internet. Look that up on the internet and see, how to gain weight. You're not going to find it. Everything on the internet is how to lose weight, but how to gain weight? Sorry. So, obviously I can eat a lot of pizza and drink a lot of beer, and I know I'll gain weight. Now, whether or not that's going to be healthy, or, what's that going to do to my blood sugar? You know, there's a lot of junk I can eat, but I'm just hoping, beyond hope, that I'm just hoping beyond hope that the nutritionist will be able to have some good suggestions for someone who has a metabolism that's running about 10 times faster than everybody else in the human race. And with that, of course, you're going to burn up more fuel. And if they say, oh yeah, no, I ran into this before, I'll say, right on, let's get started. If they have no idea what I'm talking about, which I ran into doctors a lot like that lately, if they have no idea what I'm talking about, then I think I might have to maybe have one appointment and go on to the next. So anyway, great seeing everybody. I probably won't be around much longer. K7ITX, back to net control.
7ITX, Richard. You're going to be around for quite a while. Don't check out tonight. Let's go to Jim, N7QO. N7QO, Jim, are you available?
N7QO, yes. If you said something to me, you were covered up by the repeater IDer there. Okay, thanks. Okay, so, Ron, holy cow, that is quite a story. So you never did definitively say if that solved the problem, but I'm assuming that it did. It sounds like you had two bad batteries, one of which was not a real new battery, and one which was an almost brand new battery. Wow, that's bad luck. The odds of that are kind of small. If you remember, if the problem happens again, let me know, please, because my friend wants to know what's going on with her vehicle. I don't know, it's just an unusual problem. Dave, man, sorry about Don. Hope it's a good solution that comes out of that. I have a friend living with lymphoma. She's got it, oh man, when did she get it? Maybe 2015 or so. So she's going on with it for quite some time. But then I guess everyone's a little bit different, and even if they call the cancer the same thing, they're all probably just a little bit different. But I'll pray for you on that. Also, Dave, you mentioned finances. Oh man. Yeah. Thanks for saying something. Just mentioning the word finances. I have been so darn busy, I haven't even started on my income tax yet. I need to get going on that. Let's see. Dick, I think you have the solution. Let me reset. Dick, good to hear from you. I think you have the solution. If you can't gain weight eating good food, maybe eat bad food. Doesn't sound like there's anything wrong with pizza and beer to me. But having said that, I think you said everything that you need to say. Try to figure out if the fellow knows what he's talking about, if he's familiar with the problem, if he's experienced that before with anyone, and I guess whatever he tells you would be worth a shot. I don't know. I was taught, okay, you have to understand our public educational system, but I was always taught there's probably a pharmacological solution to everything. Better living through chemistry. So I don't know what sort of medicines or drugs are out there that could help you gain weight. But once again, not many people have that problem. So, sorry, Guy, you have somewhat of a unique problem right now. We'll be praying for you as well that someone comes up with a solution that's not terribly hard to take and that doesn't have side effects. So good luck with that. And back to you, Dave, N7QO.
QO, and the net acknowledges W7ATS Wade has signed on. So that coming up next is James, WU7N.
Oh, thank you, Dave. WU7N here. Well, I tried to buy some chili at the Costco in Redmond and asked, and they said they were out of the ingredients to make it. Didn't go into what ingredients are necessary, but I don't know if it's beef. I know that Costco takes the very inexpensive chickens on the spit, the rotisserie chickens. If they don't sell those, they don't throw them out. They bone them, and then they package the chicken meat, and then they sell the chicken meat for much higher per pound than the chicken on the spit. So they still make a profit off of the chickens that are not purchased. I thought that was kind of a smart idea. But tomorrow, when I get back from all my travels, I'll be going through Issaquah, so I'm going to see if they have chili there, because I do want to try that. Sorry to hear about Don Mann, and I hope he heals quickly. Fred Hutch, I guess, is the best place in the world to deal with that, so I'll definitely send a prayer that direction. I hope you'll keep us posted on what's going on there. The story just enforces what I read in an article recently, and the new way to steal a car is to find the keys, preferably in the car. There's all sorts of places where typically somebody goes, and for some reason they don't want to turn the car off, they get out of the car. And car thieves are now watching for those places, like, for example, maybe a gate at a gated community, or a gate at an apartment complex, or maybe they have to mess around with a garage or something, and then they jump out of the bushes, jump into the car, and drive off with it. Now, the problem with this, as hit the news, is the most common person that leaves their car running and goes in and does something is the mom that has a kid in the back. So people stealing cars, I've seen several stories over the past few years of cars being stolen with a kid in it, and then the thief realizes there's, a screaming kid in the back that wants to get fed or something, and then has to, do something and call 911. And so far, I think most of these, because obviously, I don't even know if car stealing is against the law anymore in Seattle. I don't think it is. But stealing a kid, I think you'd have a pretty hefty fine for that, I'm guessing. Anyway, so that's it here. I'm going to have to check out early, so I'll probably be able to hang in here with one more round with you guys, and then I'm going to need to go do something here. So I wanted to make sure to say hi. I guess this is my 73. This is James WU7N. Thanks for participating tonight.
7N, thanks for joining the net. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City again. Boy, listening to battery problems. I had a Mazda RX-7 that I had battery problems with. Replaced the battery, and then it went dead again. So I got it jumped, got the car started. It ran pretty good for about an hour, and then the battery died again. But found out when I went back to the shop that the alternator had gone out, and that apparently the alternator has a built-in regulator within the alternator itself. And once that was repaired, then the vehicle charged up okay and ran fine for several more years. So anyway, you never know what's going to happen. I had another car that had a battery problem that kept going down, and it turned out it was the pilot light that was in the glove compartment. That the contact was not closed when the glove compartment door was closed. For some reason, that contact was open, the little bulb was on, and after a day or two over the weekend, the battery went flat. So I removed the bulb out of the glove compartment and took care of the problem completely. I don't know whatever happened to the switch or whatever happened to the car after that. But anyway, if the guy put a bulb back into his glove compartment, I'm sure he will find out that the battery goes flat again. Well, that's so much for that. And tires, oh my gosh, they are expensive items for cars. So with that, let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
This is Ron, KD7QKU. Yeah, I hope I don't have to put tires on anything for a while. Hi Wade, nice to see you tonight. Let's see, I told you I painted the steps and put in the handrail. I didn't do much else. Spent the last 2 days, like I say, getting the car back. But hopefully it's fine. The first battery, of course, just wore out because it was old. The second one, I guess, just failed because it failed. So I don't know. So I talked to my son today. He got his boat motor back in and the outdrive on, and he had it running. It all looks really good. Whether or not he's going to try to put it in the water or not, I don't know. It's a pretty good sized boat. It's hard to do by himself, but I think he has a neighbor that he can get to help him. So it'll be. I hope it runs good now. I hope he gets to enjoy it this summer rather than work on it. So that'll be good. Yeah, and Dave, I don't know. It was beautiful here. It was like it was a little bit foggy in the morning, then it burned off, and the sun came out, and it was 55 degrees in the thermometer out in the front yard. It might have been warmer than the backyard. I don't know, but it was hot actually. I was out there in the garage, and I just had one shirt on, and I was still warm. So anyway. I hope it warms up tomorrow. I'll open the garage up. Maybe that paint will dry. Probably take 2 or 3 days for that paint to dry. If it does at all. I guess I should have went someplace and got latex paint, and it probably would have dried much faster. All right, so let's go. Let's see what else. Richard's gone. We talked about Don, yeah, your brother. So I didn't make any notes, so I guess I'm turning it back to net KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that, Ron. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine for an ID. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
7UHK, when learning how to drive buses, one of the things we would do when we're not actually driving the bus, we leave the buses gone. They're big diesel buses, and they don't have a key to start them with. That's just the dirty little secret about these buses. They do leave them behind locked gates when we're done at night. But when I go off to take a rest or take a walk while I've got 20 minutes to wait, I leave the buses gone. And if someone gets on there and drives away, they will find them because they are very well tracked. They can look down and see exactly where my bus is. They'll call me by name, and they'll know exactly where my bus is with my name on it on the main screen. And they may even have a button to disable our buses. I wouldn't be surprised because they are very, very sophisticated. Many interlocks, many cameras, many cameras. And I've seen it when they've pulled tapes out and showed you what you look like when you're driving, and it's amazingly clear with audio. Everything you say on a bus, they know. It's actually really pretty cool. So I find that interesting. Otherwise, I'm hoping for warmer weather. It was sure nice to see a little bit of sun today, but we had hail, a little bit of hail up in Cedar Woolley this afternoon, and so it was kind of changing weather up there. Big black clouds would come through, and then it'd go away and be sunny again. Up here in Everett, this is KF7UHK.
7UHK, thanks for that. Let's go to Wade in Tacoma, W7ITL.
Here's
coming in, but it's coming in flippy. I need to increase my gain a little bit, maybe. I don't know what's going on here. I'm gonna try this one more time. Seem to figure out why my video is not coming in, but it looks like it may be something with my station because it's black on my side. But I don't really have a lot to say tonight. But I did want to kind of mention that I just got my wife and my son both went through. Oh, there we go. Oh, or maybe somebody flipped me in. Looks like we're coming in. Oh. Oh, that's why it's not working. There we go. Now you can see me. Let's turn my brightness down. There we go. So my son and my wife both got their ham radio licenses yesterday. They got their test. So they don't have license in hand yet, but that's going to be happening hopefully here in the next 5 to 10 days. And then this weekend I'm going to be out of town with my son doing a Boy Scout outing. We'll be out for 3 days, so I won't be in for the Saturday and that. Let me break for a second. And then the following weekend I will be out of town going back to Florida. So that's the update for tonight. We'll see if I got anything more for next round. This is W7ATL, back to net.
ITL, congratulations on your family getting licensed this week. It's kind of great. 2 more amateur radio enthusiasts in the group. Let's go on to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Dave, you were talking about expensive things. We were talking on this net, tires, batteries, paint, food. I got gas for my car today, and holy cow, I don't remember exactly what it was per gallon, but it was more than I had paid in a long time. Oh well. Oh, Jessica, Big Brother is watching. Huh. I think that's frightening. If it were me, okay, maybe I'm paranoid. At least that's probably what my wife would say. But I would say maybe I'm not really paranoid. Maybe I'm just cautious or something. I would inspect the buses. Maybe check out the steering wheel or maybe the seat or something. It wouldn't surprise me listening to the way you were describing things. Maybe they have like a little taser-like device set up in the bus there. If they don't like what you're doing or if you're dozing off or something, they can get you. It might be worth looking at anyway. Maybe wear gloves while you're messing with the steering wheel or something. Just a thought. So I don't know. I don't think that's paranoia, is it? Anyway, if you're not paranoid if they really are out to get you. Let's see. Wade, congratulations on the wife and son there. Good to see you, sir. And I do have pictures on 1.2 gigahertz now. It seems to me sometime in the past, I read somewhere that you could go on the internet and check and see if the FCC has issued a license, and it's not necessary to have it mailed to you. You could get it like online, and they'd give you, so you could find your new call online. I think there's a way to do that somehow. I just don't remember how. But just a thought, might be worth looking at. Anyway, congratulations on that. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
QO, let's go to James, WU7N. WU7N. James, are you with us? Apparently not. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City again. Oh my gosh. Gasoline prices. Yes, I've noticed that they're up again. But however, for the last 9 years I've been with an electric vehicle, and I don't think my electric bill has exceeded $8 a month for charging up the car to get around. So it is handsomely paid for that, but except the $7,000 battery, I don't know, maybe plus or minus, maybe at breaking even, who knows. But anyway, the electric car is still running fine, and I probably have about 3 more years of battery left on that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU, Mr. New Battery.
KD7QKU here. Well, Wade, that's great that your son and your wife got their license. I don't know if you're going to take your radio with you on this little camping trip, but it might be a good time for him to kind of get his fingers wet in it. So anyway, if you ever want to, we can probably do simplex, on 2 meters or something. He can call me and we can talk. That might be a kind of a neat deal. So I got gas the other day, and I was just looking to see what I paid. So I paid $3.97.9 for gas. So I guess it is going up. Seems like the time before I paid $3.60 or something, $3.67 or something. So I guess it's creeping up. That's too bad. What else is going on? Gee, many Christmas, I don't know. The lady next door had an elevator. Her husband's in a wheelchair, and he has to go in for dialysis every other day. So she had this big ramp. It's a split-level house, and so the front door is up a flight of stairs. And so she had this big ramp that came down. And when it was frosty and stuff, it was not easy for her. And they're not young. I think he's 84. She's younger than he is, but I would say past retirement age. So anyway, they had an outside little elevator put in, kind of cool. They tore everything down, and then they built a new little platform in front of the house, and then they built new stairs and railings and everything. And this little elevator is a platform. This goes up and down. So, and she has a remote control switch. So I went over and looked at it this morning, and then I came home and told Joanne, and Joanne said, well, is there a cage around it or anything? No, there isn't any cage. Well, what's going to keep him from rolling off? I said, I don't know. I guess I got to go back and look at it again. Well, this time Judy was out there, so she showed me how it worked. And it has only about a 6-inch curve that goes all the way around. And then there was no rail on the outside. You're just kind of in the open air. It's a little bit spooky. I mean, it's about 8 feet up in the air. And I don't think that he could fall off. The wheels would go over the curb. But anyway, so then we were talking about it. She said the guy was going to come back and build like a railing from the ground up on the outside. The back of the left side, say you're coming out of the house, is the garage wall, and the little elevator's up against the garage wall. and it's not doesn't stick out very far. But the outside is open air, and yeah, it would be a little bit spooky. He has an electric wheelchair, and they used to have, you know, a push. But yeah, no, it would make me a little bit nervous, I guess, if I had an electric wheelchair and I was wheeling out on that platform the first few times. But then I see, I was over there again today, and so the wheelchair guy came back and he put a railing, a solid wall. It must be an added feature that didn't come with it. Maybe it's, you know, it's something you buy extra. But anyway, it's about 3 or 4 feet high. So it's on the outside now, and it's attached to the elevator, so it goes up and down with you. So it's you're kind of enclosed now, just a little bit, much better. It would give you a sense of security. So it's a nice rig, and like I say, it has buttons on it for the person that's sitting there to run it, or it has she has a remote, so she can run him up and down with the remote. So it's a nice little deal. But it probably costs about $15,000 for them to have it put on the house. I think she told me 14 or 15. So anyway, all right, back to net, KD7QKU.
7QKU, let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
On these paratransits that I drive, made by a company called Brown Ability, are these hydraulic run with a little remote button that it has a coiled cord on it, so it's not totally remote, but it's a handheld button that you use, and you pull someone up on the ramp, and usually a lot of times I ride it on the ramp with the person so I can hang on to them, especially if they're not electric. But these things are just workhorses. They lift up, you know, a big person in a big electric wheelchair just fine, and I'm always amazed when I get on it too, which probably makes, you know, 1,500, 2,000 pounds probably when we're done. It seems just really nicely put together. But they also have a lot of interlock switches on it. So if you step on certain places, either alarm will go off or it'll just not do anything. So you have to make sure you're clear of all the little switches to make sure that if someone, you know, accidentally runs into one of them, they won't get caught in the machine or they won't fall off the edge. And they're quite the amazing contraptions. So that's cool, Ron. I like hearing about things like that. That's really neat. Otherwise, it looks like we're getting near the end, so this is Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, thanks for that, Jessica. Let's go on down to Wade, W7ATL.
ITL, and switch my video so you can see myself. There we go. All right. Well, it's a short group towards the end here, and you know, I don't have a lot of content tonight, but I am super excited about my son being able to get on the air, and my wife it's awesome that she actually did it. She did it more for my son so that he would go to the class, and yeah, but it's cool that both of them got their license, and you know, maybe this coming weekend or maybe early next week they'll have their license emailed to them, because that's how they do it now. You just give them the FRN, and then they email you a notification, say, hey, here's your new systematic call sign, and then you can go ahead and register for another call sign if you don't like the one you got, and go from there. Let's see, yeah. Looking at, we're going to Fort Flagler this weekend. It's going to be, it's forecasted to be pretty cold, so I'm going to be dressing in layers, and I probably won't be sleeping out of tent. I'll probably be sleeping in my van, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's that, and I think we're winding down to the end of the hour here, and I'm going to just turn the net back to Dave and see if anybody else has any more to say before the net closes. W7ITL, back to net.
W7ITL, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
Was trying to break in there. Go ahead, whoever that was.
Yeah, it was me. I was just asking Wade if he bought anything at the Ham Fest.
What I didn't actually go. I was helping clean the house. I was one of my, hey, I'll do this if you do this kind of things. So I spent my whole weekend doing that and supporting Logan and Rachel in their getting their license. So that was my sacrifice. I didn't go to Hamfest this year, so we'll do that next year. And hopefully Logan will join me in one of the whatever field day I end up going to this year. We'll have fun doing that. Hopefully I can convince him to go out with me. So looking forward to things we're going to be able to do now that he's licensed. So all right, well, that's that. Sorry to eat up some more time there. I'll head back to net.
Let's get back to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Oh yeah, I guess thanks for mentioning that, Wade. I guess they probably don't even send you your certificates in the mail anymore. Wow, things have certainly changed. And going to Fort Flagler, have fun and yeah, stay warm. And hopefully dry as well. I don't know, that's all I got. Thanks everyone for participating. Catch you all on Wednesday. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
7QO, thanks with that. And it's time to wrap up the net for this evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions for our nets held on Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.
you.